Do you envision an expansion of the downtown business district? Why or why not?
I think the downtown business district is outlined in the CBD1 and CBD2 and CBD3 districts right now encompass enough land that is due for development or redevelopment that will meet the needs of our downtown to the mid to long term. I don't envision expanding the downtown business district.
All right, thank you. Next question goes to you, Mr. McAleer. What did you think of the handling of the former city administrator Matt Carlson's termination, and what would you have done different, if anything?
The one thing I would have done differently was when Alderman came by 2-3 weeks later and asked for the same consideration, and again, Mayor Schuman wouldn't put it on the agenda. And it's my belief that this stubbornness on the mayor's part exacerbated the situation and polarized himself with the Common Council and made it difficult for the Common Council to see any other avenue but to use the termination clause in the city administrator's contract.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Schuman?
I've been talking to the city attorneys since September on this. City Council already made a decision to change the clerk's position so they could be the treasurer. That was in process. And the discussion to have Mr. Carlson's position of treasurer removed before this happened was discussed by myself and the city attorneys. And the city attorney says this should be in a closed session. The aldermen were told this would be in a closed session. Unfortunately, they didn't listen to me, and they shut their mouths off, and made it even worse. So, as the chief executive officer, I need to make some decisions. Not everybody is happy with those, but I did this to protect the taxpayers of the city of Delafield. You're dealing with a labor relations and employment issue. You do not publicly embarrass somebody. You do that, not the embarrassment, you deal with this in closed session. This is how you handle the city as far as I'm concerned.
All right, thank you very much. Next question goes to Mr. Schuman. It's a resident submitted question. How do you feel about businesses other than gas stations being open 24 hours in the city?
This is something that would need to be discussed by the Plan Commission. I don't really think we need a lot of 24-hour businesses. There are some sections of town where it would not be a problem, such as 83 and I-94. The Village Square settlement has no 24-hour operations there, so that's pretty clear. So any exceptions to that would have to come to the Plan Commission. I take it as a case-by-case basis.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McAleer?
We debated this extensively, I think 10 or 12 years ago, and we came to the conclusion, if I remember right, that motels and some gas stations could be on a 24-hour basis. It would be my intent that this would be just the absolute minimum that it would be allowed. Our community has expressed the desire to not be a 24-hour community, and I respect that, and I heard that loud and clear when I was mayor before, and I doubt if it's changed.
All right, thank you. Next question goes to you, Mr. McAleer. It's from a resident. Can you explain why, as mayor, you allowed the general fund balance to be depleted, and what would you do differently this time?
We were on the roll back in 1999 and 2000. We all thought we were junior Newt Gingriches, and we tried to give back to the taxpayer as much as we could. Sometimes when this is talked about, I hear it in terms of like we were frivolous and we spent it wildly, or we did something other than just give it back to the taxpayer. But what we did is we bought down the mill rate, and we did that for 2 years in a row. It was a mistake, and it was an error that I won't make again. It was done with good intentions. It was done to try and lower taxes, but what it ended up doing is costing us a bond rating that it's taken us a while to get back. The only other comment I'll make about this is the budgets that passed that did this were voted on unanimously by the Common Council, and Mayor Schuman was an alderman at the time, and he voted in favor of doing this also. So I'll take responsibility because, like Harry Truman said, I was the mayor and the buck stops here. but it wasn't, I didn't act unilaterally doing it. It was a common council decision.
All right, thank you. Mr. Schuman?
The mayor's right. I talked to him again as a very rookie alderman. Why are we going down, taking our reserves down? So he said, well, we can always borrow money if we need it. 6 years ago, when I had 5 or 6 of us running for mayor, I proposed that we have a finance advisory committee made up of citizens of Delafield to give us advice on how to get out of this hole, because Moody's just downrated us, and it wasn't a very pleasant thing. Mayor Craig won that election. He said, could I use this idea? I said, by all means. One of the first persons he put on this was Don Gottschalk, his campaign treasurer, who now has a mayor for Schuman sign in his front yard. So this committee has given the council the backbone and the advice on getting out of this hole. So we've got out of this hole. Since that time, Moody's has increased us twice. Our rating is up there. Our reserves are a little more than we need. So we'll be discussing using this money as a sinking fund for equipment. Right now we have to fund equipment instead of having funds available to do this. So this is the fiscal responsibility approach that I have taken. I've not taken the blame game. I'm looking for ways of getting out of problems, solving problems without pointing fingers.
All right, thank you. Next question, it's kind of specific and a little long, so bear with me, but it goes to you, Mr. Schuman. The coach light style lighting fixtures at Village Square are in direct violation of a settlement agreement reached for the project in August of '04 because they are not shielded and do not have a concealed light source as required in the document. As mayor, what can residential property owners specifically expect you to do to correct this violation of the settlement agreement?
The question presumed there's a violation of the agreement. The agreement had them submit their lighting plan. That was approved by the Plan Commission. There's shielding and there's not shielding. It's a complicated issue, but you look at what is the court of public opinion and what is the court of law. I have discussed this with the developer themselves. They have instituted a change by putting 50-watt fixtures in the lights on Vedelson Road. I will continue to discuss this with them. We had a gentleman from Vedelson Road come in who's an attorney. He feels we've done everything we could do legally. So this is a continual process. I will negotiate with the developers on it.
Thank you. Mr. McAleer?
The lighting, I believe today, is still in violation of the settlement agreement. I don't believe they put shades on yet, and the settlement agreement is very specific that they need to be shaded. And it's interesting because once there was a competition for the office of mayor, Mayor Schuman had a change of heart. Initially, his suggestion was that the people that lived there put up blinds so that they didn't have to look at the light. And I think that is disrespectful to the citizens of the city to talk in that manner. And I think that the settlement agreement needs to be adhered to. And I think the developer needs to have his feet held to the fire when they sign an agreement that they need to follow through on it.
All right, thank you. Just one quick thing. There are sheets of paper going around the audience if you have any more questions. So just wanted to let people know, and if you could just pass them down as the questions go along. Thank you. Okay, and back to the questions. Mr. McAleer, this one goes to you. As you are probably aware, this is from a resident, concerns have been raised by some of the city's elected officials about the Delafield business community and accusations of dirty politics and secret monopolies. What is your relationship with the business community, and as mayor, how would you respond to these sorts of remarks?
When I was mayor, I always had a good relationship with the business community, and I discount those remarks. I don't agree with them, and I don't believe in them. I think there's property owners in the downtown area that want to develop, and I invite them, if I'm elected mayor, I invite them to come and talk to our city staff and bring